turn your Kami sideways. Maybe you're not paying attention. Maybe you are. Oh, you turned him sideways. What a bad call. That's okay, ladies and gentlemen. CGB has made fun of runes as not being the brightest in the bin. We are going to assume that they're not runes. He's made fun of Mono White for not being the brightest. We're going to assume that enchantments and runes are... Hello and welcome back to the Florida Men Gaming. My name is Furion and today we're going to be playing Magic: The Gathering Arena. But before we get started, I'd like to ask that you please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let us know what you'd like to see and what you're thinking. And if you're over there on Rumble, don't forget to smash that Rumble button. For today's deck, we are playing a Mono Red Aggro deck that I have dubbed Clapback. This is a deck that is designed to punish and take punishment and then punish again. So let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. We are running 4 copies of the Fireblade Charger. This 1 red mana 1/1 is an aggressive little fiend who, as long as he is equipped, it has haste. Do we care about that? Not particularly. But here's the fun one. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. How do you power up a Fireblade Charger, you ask? A couple of ways. First one, Kumano Faces Kakazan. This one deals 1 damage on entry to the battlefield. On step 2, it pumps up the next creature to enter the board with a +1/+1 counter. So hopefully that's the Fireblade Charger. If not, we'll take it for the Rabbit Battery, or a Bloodthirsty Adversary, or a Goro Goro Disciple of Ryusei. Or later game we have other creatures. But that will give us an additional point of damage to make the Fireblade Charger a blockable target, but a punishing target to block. And on step 3, you exile this card and it returns as the Etching of Kumano. If a creature dealt damage this turn by a source you controlled would die, exile it instead. This is a great way to get rid of key pieces of builds in, say, a runes deck. You go ahead and find a way to kill a Kami of Transience while you have this on the field, and it doesn't recur from the graveyard because it goes straight to exile. We are running 4 copies of Play with Fire. Why, you ask? It's for direct to face damage and the ability to fix our mana and our hand as we draw into things we don't like. So this card is a great card for us. Very limited opportunity for us to use it as spot removal. Most of the time it will be our attack to face to really fix what's coming up next. 4 copies of the Rabbit Battery. This 1 mana creature has haste and it can reconfigure for 1 mana, which equipped creature that it reconfigures to gets +1/+1 and also has haste. We have 2 copies of the Bloodthirsty Adversary. What does this add to our pile? Haste. I'm really looking for a 1 and 2 step punch to get ourselves in early and fast with a lot of damage. Also, late game, if we draw it, it can bring us back some of our other spells and things we might have cast already, but I don't know that we ever get late enough to where that becomes a factor. Random cards we've include 1 copy of the Curse of Shaken Faith. This card is great in a runes matchup as it acts similar to an Archon of Emeria, but it punishes instead of limiting your ability to cast spells. So what this does, you enchant a player. Whenever that enchanted player casts a spell other than the first spell they cast each turn or copies a spell, Curse of Shaken Faith deals 2 damage to them. So the runes player, being the biggest example, will cast their first spell. Cast their next spell, take 2 damage. If they cast another spell, they take an additional 2 damage. Now, if we've been doing what we're supposed to with this deck, we'll have been punishing them all along the way to where those 2 damage per additional spell become very hard for them to justify. 2 copies of Goro Goro Disciple of Ryusei. Why 2? Well, because he's legendary. I don't want to get stuck with 3 of them in hand and only able to play 1 out. He has 2 useful abilities to us. 1, he can give our entire board haste. And 2, for 5 mana, late game if we have him on the board, when we attack with a modified creature, he can create a 5/5 Dragon Spirit creature token. So you ask, late game, do you often get there? No, we don't. But it's there as an option. Next is 4 copies of Kami's Flare. This is a great little spell, deals 3 damage to a target creature or planeswalker, and then it will deal 2 damage if you have a modified creature. More often than not, we have a modified creature, so this continues to hammer home at face, and it takes off early threats like the, say, Kami of Transience when it hits the board. That's just a favorite one of mine to talk about, so, expect to hear that name again. 2 copies of Run Amok. Why? Why not? Never hurts to give an attacking creature +3/+3 and trample if we have to. Don't draw this card all that often, but it's come in handy a few times. I don't know if anything in the video that you'll see today has it featured, but it does play a role. 1 copy of the Curse of Hospitality. You might ask, why, Fury, would you play Curse of Hospitality? Well, it's only 1 copy. I love this card, and it never hurts to draw things out of their deck. In some of the testing games, I have fixed mana by taking mana from the opponent, which has allowed me to get to my top end, and that's been critical. 1 copy of the Celestis. This acts as our 24th land. This deck is running 23 total, 3 Den of the Bugbear and 20 basics. The Celestis acts as that 24th, but it also gives us the ability to turn on the biggest threat in our deck. What threat is that? Is it the Thundering Raiju, you ask? No, it's not. It is the Ill-Tempered Loner. This card we're running 4 of. Why 4 of this one? Because it has an ability, much like the Fireblade Charger, where whenever it gets dealt damage, as opposed to being destroyed, it deals that damage to any target. When it becomes the Howlpack Avenger on the Knight side, whenever any permanent we control is dealt damage, it will then turn that damage around on the opponent. Very useful for clearing annoying board states, or just finishing a game and going direct to face. It makes this creature nigh unblockable, and it makes the opponent seriously think before attacking in if their life total is where we want it to be by the time we get to turn 4 and 5. Or mana 4 and 5. It doesn't always come out by turn 4 for us. That being said, the Celestis is there if we draw it to help us flip over to the Knight side and make every attack punishing, because anyone that they put up to block will become its own spell and ability. We're also running 4 copies of the Thundering Raiju. This card is fantastic. If you haven't played it, you should. It has haste. Whenever it attacks, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Then the Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control, other than Thundering Raiju. If you have 2 of these on the board, they will each deal a damage based on each of them having the 1/1 counter. It's the specific one that's attacking that it accounts for, but if you have multiples of it, it doesn't say if you have Thundering Raijus, it just matters that it's the main one. If you have 2 of these going, it's fantastic. 2 of them and a third creature that you're modifying as you go, you're starting to ping for 2 damage apiece, 3 damage apiece, and it really quickly runs the opponent down. So, with that being said, we're really excited to showcase this gameplay. Hope that you enjoy the deck. It is a fun deck. Is it top tier? Maybe not top tier, but I'm surprised by the matchups we've had and how it performed. Pleasantly surprised, I should say. It performed beyond what I expected it to do, and could just be a fun way to work your way through the ladder. I'm not saying it'll get you to Mythic, because I'm not there, and I don't know that this would be the deck to get me there. But am I having a good time? I am having a blast. And at the end of the day, that's what this is about. I don't know if I'll ever be the Mythic ranked player that you guys come to watch, but I'm going to have a good time, and I'm going to take myself not too seriously and try things that I find fun. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something I find fun. So I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the gameplay and then the post-game wrap. We have our next opponent facing off against the Hammer. This is a very slow hand, but we're going to go ahead and chance it. The ability to get down the Tempered Loner and the Thundering Raiju within a turn of each other is really good. See if we can draw into a 1 or 2 drop off of the play. No, we are just going to make sure we have all the lands we need. Opponent showing Boros to start, potentially Naya. No, Jeskai. Okay. Go ahead and put some damage on him. Oh, that's good news for us. Let's go ahead and put the Thundering Raiju down. It's going to get its counter. We're going to swing in big hits. Let's see if they sweep. They're going to have to if they want to survive. There's the Doomscar. Let's see if they have another sweeper in the pocket. Well, they've got the mana for it. There's the Doomscar. Oh, and another ill-tempered loner. Opponent now down to 5. Sweeper. Bounce effect. Sweeper. Come on, my friend. What do you got? Hinata. Something targeted. March of Otherworldly Light. Okay. Alright, the opponent is now down to 1. And we have 2 man lands that can come online next turn. We are in a very good spot. Plus, Sweeper does not kill the Rabbit Battery. Well, let's see what you got. Gonna need to have a lot. Jawari Disruption. Go ahead and hit him with the GG and swing home for victory. Blue-White, you are now in the rear view. Thanks for coming to play. Alright, we have an opponent. Well, I forgot to hit record, but I kept a 1-lander a moment ago and really didn't get land for several consecutive turns, which was disastrous. So we're going to go ahead and try and rectify that this game by keeping a 2-lander with creatures and enchantments that all fall under the 2-land curve. We'll have to see what our opponent is playing here. They're showing green. We've got another land, and already we're in a better spot. Green, white, are we runes? We might be runes. Fourth land is critical in this deck, so we're going to go ahead and choose to keep it. We're also going to knock the Kami off the board. And we're going to go ahead and swing for face. Next turn, we're going to Goro Goro and Curse of Shaken Faith. Curse of Shaken Faith, if this is a runes deck, will start to punish them very quickly. It's not quite as good as an Archon of Emeria, but it does make the opponent pause. And the pause is all we truly need. Borrowed Time. Okay. Might wish that you held on to that one. Bring you down to 10. Yep, that is a card that does a thing. But feel free to double cast all you'd like. Showdown! Alright, now down to 6. Alright, there goes the borrowed time. What do you take? Oh, that's an interesting call. I mean, it's a call you can make, but is it the right call? Because punishment! Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen. They're in a bad spot. They cannot double spell this turn. If they do, that is GG, and I don't know if they're paying close enough attention to realize it. Doesn't much matter. I've got to play with fire on top, and we might have just smoked runes. What do we want to do? We want to give them the glimmer of hope, right? Yeah, that's okay. Bink! Let it simmer, and let it go. That is GG. We have bested the runes deck. Ladies and gentlemen, Mono Red takes one to the win column. Alright, we have a new opponent. This is actually a hand I want to keep. Ill-Tempered Loner might be a little off timing here if we don't get a land in the next 3 turns, but 3 turns to draw a land is actually a bargain I'm willing to take, especially because we get to take a peek or two at what's coming next. Run Amok, you're a nice card. I don't want you right now. Thank you, though. Appreciate you showing yourself. Opponent leading with green. We'll go ahead and do the Kimono. Take the 1 damage play here, and then that way we can build the Bloodthirsty next turn. Then, when we play Kami's Flare, we are in a very advantageous position. Kami of Transience. Well, hello there. Oh, hello, my friend. Go ahead and take the swing. As we are in no rush here, we can let them put an enchantment down. As long as they don't get a second one, we're in really good shape. That would be a second enchantment. But we can still knock the Jukai Naturalist off the board, which is a big deal. And the fact that it's exiled is also a big deal. Yes, I am willing to race you, but if you have Michikos, that's going to hurt. Which you very well might. Borrowed time. Okay, I see you. You're going to take both. That makes sense. You seem like that kind of guy. Let's see if we survive a turn. Yep, it's a card you don't regularly see. Oh, do you find it? I'll be very sad if you find the exile effect. Ooh, wedding announcement. Okay. Do you dare attack me? The Rune of Might. Uh-oh. You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you? Please swing it home. Yes, I will put that damage right on your face. It's a dangerous game we play, but we play it. And that's what I was afraid of. But do you dare turn your kami sideways? Maybe you're not paying attention. Maybe you are. Oh, you turned him sideways. What a bad call. That's okay, ladies and gentlemen. CGB has made fun of runes as not being the brightest in the bin. We are going to assume that... They're not runes. He's made fun of Mono White for not being the brightest. We're going to assume that enchantments and runes are of the same ilk. We pulled one out. You gotta pay attention to every aspect of the board state. With that, we have binned green-white enchantments. Mono Red continuing to climb the ladder. Alright, we are playing Francisco. This is an interesting hand. We'll give it a shot. Opponent leading with white and the Usher. Do you want to trade? Nope. Portable hole. Okay. I now understand why you don't want to trade. Usher, Usher. Ooh, the Raiju's a big deal. Let's go ahead and get Goro Goro down. Alright. Does the opponent have an interesting play coming? Not yet, apparently. Do they pump the adversary? No, they don't. Okay. That would be too easy. Uh-oh. It's the right time. Do you get in the way? Oh, you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. Wandering Emperor down. Oh, okay, that's going to be a problem. Eight damage coming through. I screwed that up, did not mean to attack with the battery. But on the bright side, we can do that. And attach, and all hope is not necessarily lost. If they attack all in, they're going to secure the victory, but we have one path out. We have to hope that they are timid. Fateful absence. The jerk. Alright, Mono White found it. Alright, we have an opponent and a hand that I don't mind. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek, see if we are going to get the curve that we need. Nope, I want the Raiju. So give me a land. I'm not doing what I did last game again. Last game is not a game you're going to see on camera, but, you know, had 4 mana cards in hand, and it took forever to get that 4th mana, and there we go. Vindication. There's the opponent's play with fire. And a reinforced Ronin. So the opponent is running a mono red build. I just don't think that they realize how ineffectual theirs is going to be once ours starts rolling hard. Go ahead, play your Ronin. Oh, they shocked in the frickin' land. Okay, that's a way you can do it. Kargan Intimidator. Oh, double Raiju. Let's see if you want to throw your Intimidator in front of something. Okay. Next turn's gonna hurt. I mean, this turn could hurt for me. We'll find out in a moment. Do they have their own Raiju? Stormseeker. Well, that's a painful card. That's for sure. So that's going to be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage if they swing all in. Oh, they keep it back. Interesting. Okay. Let's see if that pays off for you. I don't think you've got enough. Bang, bang, bang. Ladies and gentlemen, Mono Red Mirror, we take the win. Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at the stats brought to us by untapped.gg. Let's see how this deck performed for us. So, overall, in ranked play, this deck went 5 and 4. Who were our 2 Kryptonites? Mono White and Gruul. Werewolves just outscaled us and beat us to the punch. But here's what shocked me. Azorius Control I kind of expected to beat. But Enchantments and Runes, the scourge of the meta, the 3 big scourges, we went essentially 2 and 2. We went 50%. On the play, this deck goes 71%. That's something to keep in mind. But yeah, definitely performed against the decks I wanted it to. Was hoping for better draws against the mono white. There's a game in here I may not have put in. Can't remember at this point. It's been, long session of recording things, taking out things I didn't like, but I kept a 1 mana hand at one point during the gameplay footage here, and that was a disaster. Don't ever keep a 1 mana hand, pro tip here. Not that I'm a pro, but, just tip. That didn't work out. So if I hadn't have shot myself in the foot with that decision, we might have had a better showing. But that being said, this deck is a blast. Really enjoy it. If you have suggestions, if you'd like to see more like this, let me know. I do owe a couple of viewers a Mono Blue Tempo. That got a lot of traction, and I never really followed up with that properly, so I am going to try and brew something and put it together. I might wait for New Capenna to give us some toys. I saw some stuff in the previews that I like that might make the Tempo deck I'm thinking of sing. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you being here. Don't forget again to like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Lets us know that, all of this is, entertaining to you. And if you have anything, have a good day. My name is Furion from the Florida Men Gaming, signing off.